Hi guys, so as you know, throughout the year I'm doing book reviews. Every Monday I've uploaded a different book review, and today we're talking about a really popular book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I nearly forgot who it was by then. So this book, everyone would have heard of this book, or most people would have heard of it. As you can see, it's quite a thick book. I'm going to try and narrow it down. Yesterday I was literally thinking, if I do everything that I want to do in this book, it's going to take about an hour. So I'm just going to give you what's on the back page. So it says, people think when you want to change your life, you need to think big. But world-renowned habits expert James Clear has discovered another way. He knows that real change comes from the compound effect of hundreds of small decisions. In this groundbreaking book, Clear reveals exactly how these minuscule changes can grow into life-altering outcomes. I don't know where to start with this book because there's so many fantastic things in there. I gave it 9.5 out of 10. It would have got 10 out of 10, but the only issue I have with it is that a lot of the ideas are taken from another book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. So because there's quite a lot of crossover there, that's the only reason I knocked off half a point. Apart from that, it's a fantastic book. Let's get to it. I mean, I don't know how I'm going to narrow this down, but I'm going to try. So it talks about 4 laws of behavior change. So to make it easier for you to change your behavior and your habits, make it obvious, make the thing that you need to do obvious, make it easy, make it attractive, and make it satisfying. So he says that the reverse happens where people struggle to change. So if something is not obvious, it's too complicated. If something is like difficult, if something is unattractive for you to do or dissatisfying, you're not going to do it. So they give you lots of examples of things. So the other thing it links this with is something called habit stacking. So in the book, that's one of the key things of the book. Habit stacking is where you're already doing something. So you might have a coffee every morning. He says if you can link another habit with making the coffee. So while you're making coffee, maybe you'll do 2-minute and 1-minute meditation. Or after you've made coffee, your immediate thing might be to do something else. Because he says it's easier to stack a habit on top of something you're already doing, because your brain's already used to you doing that particular thing, so you just stack something on top of it. So James Clear, the author, he's done quite a lot of interviews. I've seen quite a lot of his podcasts. He shares a lot of his stories. I mean, I could sit and listen to him for hours because he's just so knowledgeable on this topic. The book has sold, over 8 million copies. It's very easy to understand. You can implement the thing straight away and you will get results from it. So it talks about the reason the book is called what it's called, because atomic is an extremely small amount of a thing, the source of immense energy or power, and habit is a routine or practice performed regularly. It's an automatic response to a specific situation. So atomic habit is like a powerful routine, if you put it down to the definitions. There's lots of chapters in the book. Some of the chapters include walk slowly but never backward, how to stick with good habits every day, how to fix and find the causes of your bad habits, how to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule, and the surprising power of habits. There's things in here that talk about habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. The effects multiply as you repeat them. So it's the same philosophy as the compound effect, as I've said. What it says is that if you improve something by 1% each day, you won't notice the improvement until you get to maybe months down or a year. In a year, if you made 1% each day improvement on something, then within a year, at the end of the year, you would notice, but at the time you won't notice. So in the compound effect, it talks about this more effectively, I think, because it gives you examples of 2 people who implement a habit for the whole of the year, and it talks about the end results, because it says the same thing. If you if you put a bad habit into place for once a year, every day for a year, you'll notice the difference. So this could include things like smoking. It could include things like sleeping in or getting up early. There's so many habits that we can either do which are good or bad, which if you either increase them and do the bad habits, or you implement the good habits, you will notice the difference by the end of the year. So another thing it talks about is this idea of a habit loop. So a habit loop is when you're basically going round and round in a circle. There's a diagram in the book about it. So it says you have a cue or a trigger, then that elicits craving for whatever the habit is. Then you get a reward from doing it, and then a response. Now, it talks about it in more detail, but it tries to break down really why habits are formed and why habits are maintained. That's what it's really getting at. And it's saying to change your system, that will help you to achieve your goals. So creating good systems are more important than setting good goals. So any habit that you do or anything you want to achieve in life, you have to put systems in place. So your system might be that I'm going to wake up every day at 7 and then I'm going to implement all of these morning routines. I speak to my clients so much about if they just alter their morning routine and their evening routine, their life will change. Because everything that you're doing in between might be bad. But if you've got a good morning routine and a good evening routine, it can make such a difference. So another thing it says is our mistakes when it comes to habits is that we either try to change the wrong thing or we try to do it in the wrong way. So we're either working on habits that are not going to make as much of a difference to us, or we're going to try and change our habits, but we do it in the wrong way. So it says that habits are not about having something, but they're about becoming someone. I read that and I thought, wow, you know, that's a Ralph Smart when he goes, let me do that again for you. If you know Ralph Smart, you know what I'm talking about. He does that. I can't do it. But Infinite Waters Diving Deep, his channel, he does that where he said, let me say that again for you. And he makes a noise. But anyway, habits are having something, but becoming someone. So they're not about having something, they're about becoming someone. So I'm just going to read a few chapters. I'm not even going to read all of this. There's too much going on. But I need to read the information about changing your identity so that you can achieve the goal. So it says, why is it so easy to repeat bad habits and so hard to form good ones? Few things can have a more powerful impact on your life than improving your daily habits. And yet it is likely that this time next year you'll be doing the same thing rather than something better. It often feels difficult to keep good habits going for more than a few days, even with sincere effort. Once your habits are established, they seem to stick around forever, especially the unwanted ones. So it says, as I've said already, our first mistake is to try to change the wrong thing. And then, so what you need to do, the first layer is you need to change your outcomes. What do you want the outcome to be from the habit? The second layer is changing your process. How are you going to implement systems to change the habit? And the third and the deepest layer is changing your identity. So it says identity is about what you believe. When it comes to building habits that last, when it comes to building a system, you need to change your identity. So I've wrote a few bits on this because I loved this part of the book. It's saying identity is where you say what type of person will achieve that goal. So it's basically becoming the person that you... So, okay, I'll try and break it down. Choose the identity you want to become so that you can implement the habits and achieve the goals of that person. So if you want to become, I don't know, a millionaire, you have to embody the identity of a millionaire. What would a millionaire do? How would a millionaire dress? How would a millionaire think? What habits would a millionaire have in order for them to get there? So you have to change your identity. You can't just continue to be the same person, have like really big goals, but then change nothing about not only you, but change nothing about your habits. But you just sit there thinking, yeah, it's gonna happen. So it's saying really, you have to become a different type of person. So you might ask yourself, who is the type of person who is a millionaire, or who is the type of person who is successful? And then you become that person. So you put traits in place for you to become that. It's a bit deeper, and you know what, I'm not probably doing this book as much justice as it can be done, but it is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Quite a thick book, but there's everything that's in there is necessary. You can also find the free audiobook on YouTube if you prefer audiobooks, but it is one of the best books I've read so far. I gave it 9.5 out of 10, and please let me know what you guys think. Have you read the book? Have you heard about the book? Are you thinking about buying the book? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.